Hey guys, it's Joey Gaming and welcome back to the Joey Gaming YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about the 2024 presidential election. Before we get into the video, I want to go ahead and shout out these guys for the follow on Twitter. If you want a shout out, then all you got to do is follow me on Twitter. I'm trying to reach 400 followers on Twitter, so if you want a shout out, then go ahead and follow me there. Another thing I want to go ahead and talk about before we get into this video is that I'm not Republican or Democrat. I actually don't like the two major political parties. I am going to be voting for one of the two major candidates, which is Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. I'm not going to endorse anyone. This is just my general thoughts on the 2024 election. So please don't take this as, oh, I'm endorsing Trump or Kamala, because I'm not. I am voting for one of the two candidates. I've already made my decision. This video is just my unbiased thoughts and my opinions about what's going on in the election. And by the way, if you are voting in tomorrow's election, which by the way you should, like if you're able to vote, please do, because if you're not, you're an idiot. The first thing I want to go ahead and cover is that I want to go ahead and just talk about 2020 for a moment. So in 2020, I've actually made a video similar to this. I've actually made a video talking about my thoughts about the 2020 election. And honestly, I kind of like predicted a few things. Like if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I'm going to play a few clips for you. If Trump wins, there's going to be riots. If Biden wins, there's going to be riots. There's no way around it, guys. I'd rather have the actual results on the night than just waiting a few days. That's just my result. So, the first thing I did is that I predicted that there was going to be riots. And I predicted that, well, I kind of predicted. I kind of said that, oh, I hope that some states don't take a few days to process votes. And sure enough, Nevada, Georgia, they took a few days to process their votes, and that kind of sucks. I'd rather have an election be done in one night, but, you know, it is what it is. So, if you haven't yet, go ahead and watch that video. It's really interesting. In fact, I have a whole playlist of election-related videos from 2020, so once you're done watching this video, go ahead and check out that playlist. If you are going to watch that playlist, I do need to warn you that playlist is not playlist, but those videos are 4 years old. And back then, I didn't speak as clearly as like I do now. And I don't know. Even then, I don't speak clearly now. My voice kind of sucks. I don't know. I don't know if it's genetic or something, but my voice kind of still sucks now. But it was a lot worse in 2020. So be aware, if you're gonna watch some of those videos, be aware they're really bad, and I have I had a problem speaking back then. Not as bad as now, but it was a problem back then. So yeah, to recap everything from 2020, this is what happened. So 2020, I honestly thought that Donald Trump was going to win the election. Back then, I was not eligible to vote. I was 16 at the time. My parents were gonna vote. They were gonna vote for the one of the two major candidates, and I was hoping that the candidate that they were voting for would win. And I preferred the one candidate over the other. And what happened is that on the night of the election, it was pretty crazy. So actually, a few days before the election, it was pretty crazy. First of all, politics, especially in 2020 and now, is insanely insane. There's a lot of political division, and I contribute that to the media. I think the media is at fault, and this is going for both the right and the left. Fox and CNN, they're at fault. I hate the media. I think the media is biased as hell, and it should not be trusted. And back then in 2020, I didn't really trust the media on both sides. I hated that. So did my parents. Like, we didn't trust Fox, we didn't trust CNN, and it just wasn't something that we wanted to do. So, on the night of the election, we watched it, and the craziest thing about that is that on the night of the election, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Minnesota, they were a light red, and it looked like that Trump was going to win the election. And I wake up the next morning and the states were a light shade of blue. And I thought that was crazy. And I was like, okay, well, the election's not over. So those states might go red, maybe they'll stay blue, and sure enough, the states stay blue. And after the election came to a close and all the news organizations projected Joe Biden to be the winner, it's like, okay, that's interesting, because I honestly thought that I honestly thought that Donald Trump was going to win the election, and he didn't. And I don't know why I thought I don't know why I thought that Trump was going to win the election. I just thought that maybe he was just the better candidate in some people's eyes, right? And but he was defeated. Some people claimed that there was election fraud, and just to make this really crystal clear, I do have an opinion on if there was election fraud in the 2020 election, but I'm not going to be sharing that. Part of that is that political division, especially today, is insane. So I hardly share my political opinion with friends or family at all, because we just live in a world today where if you share a political opinion, you can lose friends really easily, and it can harm you. It kind of sucks that we live in that world, but it's something that I do. I rarely talk about my own political opinions online or to other people. So I'm not going to say if I do believe that there was election fraud or not. And that's kind of the same reason why I'm not saying who I voted for or who I am planning to vote for this upcoming election. So, yeah. So after the election came to an end, a lot of people, right, the Republicans were claiming that this election was fraudulent, it was rigged, and they demanded a recount. Donald Trump launched several lawsuits in Georgia, Pennsylvania, trying to think what else, Arizona as well. And I thought, okay, well, if there's lawsuits, there might be a chance that Donald Trump might flip them and it will be a Donald Trump win. But what ended up happening is that those courts rejected the lawsuits, and the procedure on getting Joe Biden elected went forward. January 6th came around, and Donald Trump was protesting along with the Republicans, and the craziest thing happened. The Republicans, they stormed the U.S. Capitol building. And I actually have a pretty crazy story about that. So I was sitting in class. This was junior year of high school. And I was sitting in American history, right? Minding my own business, doing my own work. And then suddenly the teacher aide, right? This dude walks in. He was the teacher's aide. He kind of looked like the school janitor. So picture the school janitor in overalls. That's the teacher's aide. I'm not sure why he was the teacher's aide, but he was just there helping out the class and stuff. But he walks in and he says, guys, the U.S. Capitol building's under attack. And I look at him for real? And he's like, yeah, it's true. So I went on Twitter, and sure enough, I see videos and photos of Republicans with the Confederate flag, Trump flags, and American flags walking in unopposed. The police are standing there doing absolutely nothing. And I just think this is the craziest stuff I've ever seen. I pull up a live news broadcast. There's people around me watching it with me, my fellow classmates. We were watching the U.S. Capitol building go down, the raid go down, and it's just crazy stuff. The whole day, the rest of the day, I was just glued to my phone, not paying attention to the class, because I was witnessing history live unfold in person, and it was just insane. Donald Trump was claiming that the election was rigged and that everyone should protest. And by the way, I should make this clear. I'm not claiming that Donald Trump is or isn't responsible for January 6th. That is still a very controversial subject. I do believe there was a court case, but I don't believe there was any final ruling against that. So I can't really say if Donald Trump is innocent or guilty. So I will stay neutral on that. But I will say that it was a pretty crazy day when all that happened. After that came, after the January 6th, well, not after, but the more accurate word I should say is that during January 6th, Twitter was absolutely blowing up. There was hashtags about civil wars, about a civil war breaking out. There were demands for Trump to be removed from Twitter. And sure enough, Twitter actually listened to the people on Twitter. And eventually, Donald Trump was removed from Twitter. He was permanently banned. which I've actually opposed. I actually went ahead and made a separate YouTube video calling out Twitter. I actually disagreed with the Trump ban. What you gotta understand about me is that my YouTube channel, I'm a commentary channel, so my YouTube channel is protected under the First Amendment. And since it involves the First Amendment, I do publicly defend the First Amendment. And since that I consider this Trump ban a violation of the First Amendment, I went ahead and I criticized Twitter. I will say openly that I am pro First Amendment, and I think we should defend the First Amendment. And I know kind of contradicted myself from earlier where it says I'm not going to share my political opinion. But since that the First Amendment affects my YouTube channel, that's the only time that I'm going to be politically biased is for defense of the First Amendment, which in this case, Twitter banning Donald Trump was not all right. I was not against it. I think it was not okay to ban Donald Trump, even if he was or wasn't guilty of January 6th. I disagreed with it, but it happened. At the end of the day, I just thought that a civil war was about to break up. It was about to break out, and sure enough, nothing happened, fortunately, because a civil war would suck for everyone, because Russia and China, they would take full advantage of it. Millions of Americans would die, and America would have changed forever, and not in a good way either. So I'm glad that a civil war did not happen, and I'm glad that everything turned out. January 20th came, and Joe Biden was sworn into office, along with Kamala Harris, the vice president, and they did their 4-year term. And that was kind of like the whole 2020 election in a nutshell. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the 2024 election. And to start off the 2024 election, it was crazy. A lot of people were debating if Trump was going to run again for the election. And sure enough, he announced that he was going to run for president of the United States again. And next few things that happened is that he was arrested, he was charged, and he was given this mugshot. He gave out this mugshot. He was charged on some crimes. He was charged with some felonies. After that happened, he was doing some rallies, and then he got shot. And that was kind of a big deal. And I remember the day that Trump got shot. I was in my room watching Twitter, and then suddenly Twitter was blowing up, and it was saying that, it was saying that Trump got shot. And I saw the video, and I honestly thought that Donald Trump died. I really thought at first that Donald Trump died, but then he got up, Secret Service helped him up, and I thought to myself, there is no way that Donald Trump got shot and somehow survived. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen in 2024. And that happened. He took this famous photo that I'm pretty sure everyone has seen. If you haven't, then, man, let me tell you, you've been living under a big, big rock if you haven't seen that photo. I'm just saying. So, Donald Trump was shot. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it happened. I believe that if Donald Trump did not turn his head, and I'm going to get a little religious here. And by the way, I'm not trying to push my religion down other people's throats. You can disagree with it if you want, but I do believe on that day God was there. I do believe Heavenly Father, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and God, they were there, and they saved Donald Trump. I think that they know that if Donald Trump got killed, he would have that event would have caused a second American Civil War. And I'm glad he didn't die. Even if you're against Donald Trump, you should be glad that Donald Trump didn't die, because if he was killed that day, and the assassination attempt went through, we would be in a civil war right now. Russia and China will take full advantage of that. They will escalate their gains in Ukraine and in Taiwan, and it just wouldn't be a good deal. Millions of Americans would die. The world would change forever, and I don't know. It's really about it. Like we were so close from a civil war. If Donald Trump did not turn his head, we would be in a civil war right now, and there probably wouldn't have been an election right now. The election would probably be delayed, because right now, if Trump did die, we probably would be fighting in that civil war right now as we speak. But fortunately, I do believe that there is some guardian angel that Donald Trump had, and that saved him that day. And I honestly do believe that. Once again, I'm not trying to force my religion on people's throats. That's just my personal opinion. You're welcome to disagree, but I just believe that there was some supernatural force that day that saved Donald Trump, because if there wasn't, America would be a lot worse off, and I'm glad that it didn't end that way. After the assassination attempt, I knew that Donald Trump won the election. I'm sorry. The person that shot at Donald Trump, he handed the election to Donald Trump. I'm sorry. You just don't get shot and not win the election. And I know that there's been some presidents that have been shot and didn't win the election, but I'm sorry. If you get shot, your chances of winning the election just go up. And it's not just that. It's not just the assassination attempt that I believe is the reason why Trump is going to win it. And by the way, I do think Trump is going to win the election. I'll tell you why later in the video. But after that happened, Donald Trump, Donald Trump brought J.D. Vance on board. J.D. Vance became the running mate for Donald Trump and may become the next vice president. I listened to some rallies. His story about becoming a father, being a family man, and being part of Trump's team is very interesting. I don't agree with everything that Vance says, and I think that's okay. But his stories are really interesting. I actually enjoyed listening to J.D. Vance, even if I don't necessarily agree with his policies all the time. But he's pretty chill. I liked him. He's like Obama, kind of. Like Obama, he's just... Like, J.D. Vance is just a very charismatic person, just like Obama, and I kind of liked Obama for the same reason. But, and by the way, I should say this right now. I'm not voting based off of someone's character. I am voting just based off of policy. So I'm not voting because I like J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a chill dude. I wouldn't mind, like, actually talking to him, but I'm not voting based off of his personality. Just like how I like Obama, but I don't necessarily agree with all of his policies either. So I hope that clears it up. J.D. Vance is a fun person to listen to, but I'm not determining if I'm going to be voting for Trump based off of him. So after he picked J.D., he went to McDonald's, and he stayed like an hour at McDonald's. And the reason why he was at McDonald's is that shortly before he did this McDonald's trip, Kamala Harris was claiming that she worked at McDonald's, and she got exposed apparently for not working at McDonald's. I'm not claiming if she did or didn't work at McDonald's. I'm not going to confirm that. But Donald Trump and the Republicans claimed that she was fraudulent. She did not work at McDonald's, and Donald Trump saw this as an opportunity, and he decided to go work 15 minutes to an hour at McDonald's. And that caused some legendary photos like this and this and this, and it's pretty sweet on what happened. I think these are iconic. I think this is the most iconic moment. Actually, no, it's not the most iconic. This photo is the most iconic moment in the 2024 election. But these photos are definitely the runner-up. After that, Joe Biden called Republicans trash, and Donald Trump's team thought it would be funny to get Donald Trump in a garbage truck, and yeah, that happens. So after all that happens, after all those events happen, the polls, they show that Donald Trump is doing really well. And I'm going to say it right now. I do believe that Donald Trump is going to win the election. That's my official prediction. I'm going to make that right now. Donald Trump is going to win the election. That's my prediction. Don't treat this as it's an endorsement from me that I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. Once again, I want to keep that a mystery. But in my own personal opinion, I think that Donald Trump is going to win the election. And I could be wrong, by the way. I could be wrong. I was surprised when Joe Biden won the election. I really thought that, nobody's going to vote for Biden. He's just not fit. He's just not mentally well, in my opinion, back then. I personally didn't think that Joe Biden was fit for office in 2020. I will publicly say that. So that was the reason why I didn't really think that no one was going to vote for Biden. I didn't really think that Biden was going to win, but I was surprised. And maybe that will happen again. Maybe Kamala will win the election. And if that happens, I'll be surprised. And I'm hoping that if Kamala does win the election, I just hope that Donald Trump doesn't go too extreme. I'm hoping that there will be not a lot of riots. And I think there will be riots. I think regardless on which side wins, there will be a riot. If the right loses, then there's going to be riots from the right, possibly another insurrection. You never know. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. If the left loses, then there's going to be massive riots in the big cities, such as Seattle, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco. I do think there's going to be riots on those days if Trump loses. But I'm hoping that once election day comes, that doesn't happen. So for my final thoughts, once again, I'm not going to endorse a candidate. I'm not going to say who I'm voting for, but my prediction is that my prediction is that Trump is going to win the election, and I think he's actually going to do really well. And the reason why I think he's going to do well is due to the amount of endorsements that he got. Elon Musk is a good example, and Elon Musk, he did more than just endorse Donald Trump. He unbanned Donald Trump from Twitter. He joined Donald Trump's team. He's going to be part of the Department of Government Efficiency. He's going to make the government a lot more efficient, apparently. He has RFK as part of Donald Trump's team. He's going to make America a lot more healthier. And if that is the case, then I can't wait. America does have a big processed food problem, so that's going to be awesome. So once again, I do think that Donald Trump is going to win, and I say that because there's celebrities endorsing him. He did a lot of interviews, and he just has way too many iconic moments. I'm sorry. Once again, once you get shot, right? If you're a presidential candidate and you get shot, I'm sorry. I think the election gets handed to you, man. Like, you kind of get street cred after you get shot, you know? And I don't know, I just feel like that you get sympathy points. Like, if you get shot, you get sympathy points, and that causes people to vote for you. So I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry if the video isn't as scripted as usual. I just kind of want to get my thoughts out there about the 2024 election, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. By the way, I ask that you guys keep the comment sections as civil as possible. Since this is politics related, I'm expecting there to be some comments, so please be respectful. Go out and vote for the preferred candidate. It doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, or a third party. All what matters is that you go ahead and you vote for the candidate you believe will do the best for our country. So I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and see ya. Peace. Bye.